Yeah, I love it. I let Lissette pick the opening music this week. I love it. Hungry like the wolf.
Yeah.
This is a good one, man.
I'm glad you like it.
I was saying, hey, today's title is, I don't even remember the title, but it's what makes a great buyer's agent. And so she picked Hungry Like a Wolf because you should be hungry like a wolf to go out and find one. And I'll tell you, so many people will go out and they'll interview 2, 3 different listing agents. They'll do their background checks. They'll check out their Facebook. They'll check out their Instagram. They look at their YouTube. They're reading their profiles. How many sales do you have? What's your commission? I want to know everything about you, Mr. or Mrs. Listing Agent. But for some reason, when it comes to the buy side, people just don't do that. It's just who am I comfortable with? And that's it. And it is so... Well, I'll say it like this. If you use the right listing agent, you are going to net more money on average, sell faster on average than you would with an average or below average agent. The same exact thing is true on the buy side. If you've got a phenomenal agent, you're going to, on average, be able to purchase that property at a better price with better terms, get in quicker, get all the things that you want, versus if you're with an average or below average agent. Yet, people will use Aunt Susie, who's done 3 sales in her life, right? Or Cousin Sarah, because she just got her license, and oh my gosh, I'm excited to go with comfy Cousin Sarah. But Sarah's got a lot of concerns, right? Sarah might not know how to write up a purchase agreement, how to negotiate, how to do a lot of the different things that are going to set you apart. And I tell you what, as a client who is selling and you want to make 10, 20, 30 grand more, it's exactly the same financial difference as being a buyer and losing 10, 20, 30 grand because you don't have the right agent. Lissette, what do you think of that?
Oh, 100%. I think chemistry is definitely a big component in how you get along with your agent, but also is how dedicated are you and how experienced are them? When an obstacle comes along, are they going to know how to work around that problem and fix that problem and be a problem solver?
Yes. So that brings me to, like, how do you backwards plan for that? How do you reverse engineer that? So like you're saying, are they a deal maker or a deal breaker, right? A problem solver, or do they create the problems? And you'll know as soon as you talk to some agents. I just had one today where I presented the offer. I had the buyer, called up the agent, and that agent was like, hey, this is a problem, this is a problem, and this is a problem in your offer. But if I communicate it like this to the seller, they'll be thinking this and this and this and this, and I can do this with this issue. With this issue, I'm gonna have a challenge with this. Can you help me with this by doing this? Like, that person was finding solutions. Now, that person is also a top agent. You can see why. Other agents will hear one little issue with your amazing offer. That's a 10 out of 10, and 11 out of 10 on everything else. But they'll see that one little issue and they'll be like, I don't think my sellers are going to do it. This is going to be a big problem. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. I don't think it's going to happen. And you're like, do you know that, or are you the problem, right? Maybe these sellers will love it. You don't even know yet. So there's a difference between deal makers and deal breakers. The question is, how do you reverse engineer that to determine which one they are up front? So here's my suggestion. I know this sucks as a buyer's agent, but if I'm a buyer, this is exactly what I would do. I'd present an issue right up front. Before I've even committed to Lissette, my buyer's agent, maybe I'd say something like, Lissette, I got an 803 credit score, and I want to come in strong. Maybe I'll come in at price, over price, whatever. I can close in 30 to 45 days, not a problem. But I want to be tight on cash. I'll put $500 down for escrow. And that's kind of ugly, right? Wouldn't you say that's kind of ugly if you see it?
That's a tough one.
I won't come in at $500 escrow, but I want to see, what's Lissette going to do? Is she going to whine and complain and moan and, or is she going to say, interesting, that's an interesting thing you said. Let me present to you another idea that would really put you in a great situation. If I heard that, I would think, okay, we got a deal maker, not a deal breaker. I like this positivity, forward think, because you're going to have issues. Do you have somebody who's moving forward for you, or who's just trying to make it so it's easy for them, right? That's a big deal. What are you seeing as a listing agent?
Listing agent, I have one deal in particular where the agent on the other side, she's amazing. I really do love her. From the very beginning, she stepped in. She came in strong. She gave me a little bit backstory on her buyers, why they're so hungry for this property, few issues in the inspection, and she was willing to work with me to get them solved. She's like, if you can't be there, I'll be there. We could do this. We could do that.
We'll make her.
Wow, that's awesome. And we worked together as a team to keep this deal together.
Yep.
Where if I would have had another agent, the deal would have fallen apart for sure last week. So it's nice, to have someone that's willing to work with the listing agent.
Yes. Right now, more than any time I've ever seen, I think it's also important to be accessible. And to add to accessibility is to have a team of agents behind them. I'll tell you, I'm an accessible guy. I'm at 5:30 every single morning, and I work until 10:30 every single night. That's 17 hours you can use and abuse this guy right here, 6 days a week. That's a lot of hours. I don't know what that math is, but it's a lot, right? But I'm busy. So sometimes it's going to be tough to get in touch with me, even with all that accessibility. So thank God I've got Lissette, and I've got Cammie, and I got Alan, I got Mario, and I got all these different team members to share that time with. So if I can't do it, they can. And Lissette, you've asked me to help you. We all help each other out. If I'm a buyer, what am I looking for? What questions am I asking to know that that agent is going to be able to get me into a home quick enough so I can make an offer and actually get that offer accepted?
Yeah, one of the things is just asking up front, when are you available? Are you available weekends? Are you available in the afternoon, in the mornings? I like to try to make my schedule when I'm available to my client whenever it's good for them. But there are times where I just can't make it. And I am lucky where I do have you guys to support me and we work together as a team. So knowing that your agent has a support team around them, along also with a good networking team, is also speaks volumes.
Big time. And people you trust. Yeah, I agree 100%. One other thing that I don't think a lot of people consider, I think it maybe accidentally happens a lot, but you really want to pay attention to this, especially if it's a friend or family member, is how likable are they? And how professional are they? And how clear and concise are they in their communication? When a problem comes up, do they got to ramble on for 4 minutes to get something out of their mouth? Or is it out of their mouth in 17 seconds and it's clear and concise and you get exactly what they mean? And the reason I say that, because you might think, it's my cousin Sarah. I don't really care. I love her. Cool. Except she's got to present your offer to a sharp, high-powered listing agent. And that listing agent is making a determination of who has the best odds of getting that sucker closed. And if I've got somebody who rambles on for 18 minutes in one corner, maybe even with a better offer, or I've got someone in the other corner who is quick, concise, answers my questions, no more, no less, very likable, a deal maker, not a deal breaker, I'm going to tell my listing clients that. I'm going to say, hey, listen, this offer's $2,000 better, but this one over here, that agent is sharp. They are on the ball. They're answering all my questions. This one's a problem. Every time a problem pops up, it's 18 minutes of things that really don't even make sense. It's just rambling. So really having someone who is clear and concise. How important do you feel that is, Lissette, when it comes to choosing the eventual realtor you're going to work with?
I think communication is key. And if you have an agent that's willing to listen to you, and if you have a problem, something that you think that might give you an issue with the deal, and you have an agent that's listening to you instead of just responding to you, that makes a world of difference. You put yourself in your client's shoes and understand where they're coming from, gives you an advantage to then present that issue to the listing agent and work on a solution.
Yep. And the last thing I would say, and then I'll open it up to you, Lissette, is I think it's really important to know that your agent is the hub of all things real estate. Do they have a good recommendation for someone in title? Do they have a good recommendation for someone in inspecting, lending, a handyman, a roofer, an electrician, a plumber, flooring, cabinets, all of it? If they do, man, that's a helpful agent. That's a good person to have in your corner. I also think that they should be recommending to you someone in lending. They should be recommending to you someone in title. And the reason is lenders are different. Title is different. And those people will make or break your deal, right? If you get the wrong electrician after closing, it might suck after closing, but it's not going to impact your ability to get your offer accepted. But if you've got the right lender, the right title company, and your agent can communicate to the other side, that holy smokes, we've got the all-star team set up on this deal so that you know your odds of closing are 101%. As a listing agent, that feels pretty solid. So feel free to talk about that or anything else that you'd like to finish here with.
No, I just think communication is huge, and knowing that you have someone that has your back throughout the entire transaction. Buying a property is probably the biggest purchase that anyone does in their lifetime. And you want someone to understand your emotions throughout the entire process, communicate to you, be responsive, be a problem solver, and have a team behind them. So getting a buyer's agent is just as important as picking a listing agent, and really doing your research and connecting with that person and know that they've got your back.
You made a great point that I want to add on to also. I think that when it comes to selecting your agent too, you don't want to get sold. You don't want to get sold anything. You want to be educated on something and be so educated, so confident, so comfortable with that decision that you are just 100% into whatever it is you're about to pull the trigger on, right? You can feel the difference. Now, I will push people, but I push people when I think like, hey, everything you told me says that you want this. This is this. You want this because your plan B, there's a big difference between A and B. Are you seeing that right now? I'll push on that when I think it's in your best interest. But if I'm pushing you just to make a commission, just to make a sale, you can feel the difference between those two things. I would say if you've got someone pushing you for a sale and they're not educating you, they're not making you feel comfortable and confident, that's probably not the best buyer's agent.
Correct. Yeah. And I've done it many times where I've gotten into a property and I see the clients are a little bit excited, but I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm not sure about this. Let's look a little bit more. I think this might not be what you're looking for. And I do that all the time because at the end of the day, you want them to be ecstatic about this purchase, not to settle. So knowing when to tell your client and be honest and be like, this may not be the best option is also a priority.
Yeah. And guys, I'm saying this as the whitest dude in Port St. Lucie. I don't speak Spanish, but holy smokes, a lot of people in the area do. We've got Lissette in this area. So if you speak Spanish, I love me. I'm a great, hardworking guy. I'm honest. But, man, I would be working with Lissette all day long. So I got to give you a little bit of props there. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And just to help you out. Any final statements or anything you want to end on?
Go find yourself a go-getter. Go find someone that's going to fight for you in this market. You need that. You need someone that's going to be proactive, that's on it, and that is fighting for you and it's going to push that offer. It's going to be communicating to the listing agent. So many times I've had good offers, but the agent doesn't communicate with me. Had another offer that needs a little bit more of a push, but the agent's on it. And I accepted that offer over any other offer. And it really does boil down to how much effort your agent's putting in there for you.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Again, just to recap, it is really important that you have the right agent, not just as a listing client, but as a buyer's client or as a buyer, and make sure that you ask a lot of the different questions that we suggested here. I'm telling you, it will set you apart. Right now, if there are 15 offers on a property, you're not competing with 15 offers. You are competing with about 3 or 4. That's it. And it's the top agents, the one who know how to write an offer, write an aggressive offer, write an intelligent offer. They're the ones who reach out to the listing agent to ask the right questions to make sure that you're positioned correctly. They're the ones who are pushing you to, hey, this and this you can get away with. This you probably can't. Here's why. I want to educate you on that. You should have an agent who's doing all those things. And I'm telling you, you are not competing with 15 offers. You're competing with 3 or 4. So Lissette, I appreciate it. You are a phenomenal agent. I always love your insights.
You too.
All right. Have an awesome and productive week.
Awesome. Take care, guys.